right, so I've written and defined a P statement, a person is a father, and a Q statement, a person is a male. And we're going to write what's called a conditional statement. And when we have a conditional statement, I don't have any idea why that looks like that. What is happening? Oh, because I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Nope. What am I doing? Okay. This is an original if-then statement. And so it is what I did on the other video. P implies Q. And if you're going to read the actual statement, you would read, if a person is a father, then a person is a male. So the next thing that we have is what's called the converse. And if you think about this, the converse statement, I used to tell my students that Converse tennis shoes, if you look at a pair of Converse high tops, the logo is on the inside of your ankles, which is weird, but that's what a converse does. It just takes things and flips them the other way. So the converse is this, Q implies P. So we would read that a person is a male, if a person is a male, then a person is a father. So it's just that you just swap the P's and the Q's. Then we have what's called the inverse statement. And that's when we use that squiggly line and we negate the original if-then. So it would be negate P implies negate Q. So we would read both original statements with a not. If a person is not a father, then a person is not a male. And then the last one of these that we have, it really isn't the last one, but it's kind of the last one that goes in this little set, because we also have like biconditionals and stuff like that. But in this last little set, we have the contrapositive, and that's where you flip and negate. So that would be negate Q implies negate P, and you would read that if a person is not a male, then a person is not a father. So then we do what are called truth tables where these things are concerned. So I'm just going to real quick run through this one. And you determine whether or not the original statement is true. If a person is a father, then a person is a male. Yes, that is true, according to what we believe biologically to be the facts. Then check the converse statement. If a person is a male, then the person is a father. That's not necessarily true. So we've got a no on our truth statement. It could be true, but we don't know that for sure. So we say no. Then we check our inverse statement, which would be if a person is not a father, then a person is not a male. So that's not necessarily true either. And then we have our contrapositive statement, which is if a person is not a male, then the person is not a father. And that would be true. So there's a lot more to the truth statement thing, but that's a lot of times what they're asking you